What's up everybody, it's Nubius Tubius with another video for you guys for War Thunder. And basically, I'd say about 80% of the time that I play this game, I typically play with the Spitfire, which is actually the Spitfire Mark II, which is currently my favorite plane to play. But after a while, sometimes turn fighting it gets kind of old, and you want to do something different. And I do have some experience with booming and zooming, but lately I've been getting a lot better at it. And also because I've acquired the right aircraft for it, and subsequently I've also equipped the correct aircraft with the right weaponry to do even better at booming and zooming. So I thought to myself, while I'm making this transition and kind of changing my playstyle a little bit, why don't I make a video about it since I'm having so much fun doing this booming and zooming? So what I'm going to be doing in this video is basically a tutorial, a step-by-step tutorial on how to do booming and zooming and hopefully how to be successful at it. So the first step is obviously you need the game War Thunder. Just kidding. The first step primarily is, of course, after you get War Thunder, is you need to basically get the correct aircraft for the job. There's a huge variety of aircraft in this game, and some can boom and zoom better than others. Some are almost basically born to boom and zoom. Now the aircraft that you see here in front of you is an aircraft that I believe is pretty much ideal for booming and zooming. And it is the Beaufighter Mark X, which is basically a flying tank. That's what this thing is. It's extremely well armed. It is capable of going pretty fast at straight and level flight, but because of its weight, because of its size, and also because it has two engines, it's very, very fast in a dive. Which you can not only use to attack your opponents, but you can actually use it to get away from somebody that may be coming up behind you. So the first thing that I think is important in a boom and zoom aircraft is not necessarily just speed. I guess speed is kind of the most important thing, but if anything that is of equal importance, it is its firepower. So those, in my opinion, are the two main ingredients for a successful booming and zooming kind of aircraft: is its overall speed, especially in a dive, as well as its firepower. Other factors such as maneuverability, armor defenses, and its ability to soak up damage, and even to a certain extent climb rate, those all come secondary as far as their importance. So let's take a look at this this Beaufighter here, and as you can see, it's a pretty big aircraft. It does contain two crew members. There's a pilot, obviously, that sits in the front, and there's a gunner that sits in the back. And that's also another thing that I wanted to add that's kind of important for booming and zooming, is because there may be a situation where you boom and zoom into an enemy, or as you're trying to make an escape, an enemy might be able to slot in behind you. And sure, you might be able to carry enough speed to eventually get away from that person, but remember, your planes do not fly faster than bullets. So therefore, actually having some sort of rear defense is actually kind of important. And in this game, defensive turrets are actually quite powerful, and makes a lot of attacking players think twice, or might even basically get them to scare away. So that's another factor about having a good boom and zoom aircraft, is having rear defenses. But this is the Beaufighter, and the first thing that I want to focus on, other than the two engines that you see here, are the four cannons that you see underneath. Now this is the Beaufighter Mark X. This is the second version of the Beaufighter, the upgraded version of the Beaufighter. So the original Beaufighter did have the four, 20mm cannons? Let me just double check. Yeah, 20mm Hispano cannons. Now, this is, like I said, the secondary version. So in addition to the four cannons that it has underneath its chin, it also has 6 machine guns. I believe it's 7.7 or 12.7 millimeters, so I believe that's 50 cal. I think that's 50 cal. And if you think about it, I mean, that's just insane. I mean, a lot of people think that the Beaufighter is kind of overpowered as it is from the start. I don't think that it is. But the fact that you get 4 20 millimeters and then an additional 4 machine guns over here, 50 calibers, and then another 2 over here, I mean, that's just an insane amount of firepower. And when you hold both triggers down, or depending on how you have your plane set up, if one trigger controls both the cannons and the machine guns, that is a lot of lead that is flying downrange, and that kills aircraft pretty quickly, especially if they're single engine fighters. So now that we have our aircraft selected for the appropriate reasons, if you have enough experience on this particular aircraft, you also need to know how to equip it, because when you're booming and zooming, you do not have a tremendous amount of time to knock out your target. I mean, typically you're going to be going at almost 500 miles an hour in a relatively steep dive. There's a possibility that your opponent may be able to know that you're coming and then start turning inside of you or turning away from you or reducing their profile by maneuvering. And this plane is so big and so fast, it does not turn very well. So it can't necessarily keep its nose pointed at the target. So, everything needs to be done, very, very quickly. So what you want to do is you want to equip it, and most importantly, with the weaponry that can demolish the target as soon as possible, because in most cases, there's going to be other enemies around. You don't want to start turning this energy fighter, which is what basically booming and zooming is, into a turn fighter. This thing is a huge, juicy target for other turn fighters, like, Spitfires or Zeros or even biplanes. And this thing does not turn well at all. So, hence, that's why it's good at booming and zooming. So you want to equip it the correct way. So let's take a look at the weaponry. And this plane, as far as I can tell, because I've been using it quite a bit, I've pretty much fully maxed it out on all upgrades. As you can see here, everything is highlighted or has a check next to it. But what's the most important in being able to boom and zoom is making sure that your weaponry or your ammunition is at full spec. And in my opinion, and this could possibly be a fact, is ranking up your plane to the point where you have access to stealth ammo for at least your offensive 12.7 millimeters, which again is the forward firing guns in your wings, as well as the offensive 20 millimeters, which are the forward firing guns underneath your chin. Stealth ammo basically, as you can see here, has high explosive fragmentation incendiary shells, high explosive fragmentation, semi-armor piercing incendiary shells, and armor piercing. So basically, there's 3 different shell types for the 20 millimeter that are coming out, and all of these kinds of ammunition that you see here for the stealth ammo is basically just plain killing ammo. That's what this ammo is designed to do. It's not only supposed to hit the enemy aircraft, but once it gets inside, there's probably like a sensor or something inside each and every shell, or once it passes through a bit of metal, it explodes. There's incendiary liquid that probably shoots inside the plane, tries to set things on fire. There's bullets that kind of penetrate armor and then blow up into fragmentation, kind of like a grenade going off inside the plane. So when you get a lot of these shells hitting an enemy plane and doing a lot of damage, especially if it's a small plane, that plane is pretty much just going to turn into confetti. So that is basically what you need, because again, you're going so fast and you don't want to turn into a turn fight, so you got to hit your enemy and try and kill them as quick as possible, and then basically just zoom away, try and gain altitude, use your speed to try and gain altitude, and basically do it all over again. So time is of the essence. You need to maximize your time, and you need to have very, very powerful weaponry and very, very powerful ammunition to get the job done on the first pass, if at all possible. So in order to get the stealth ammunition, you typically need to upgrade a lot of your weaponry, and the only way that you can do this is by playing this aircraft and getting hits with it, which of course gets you XP, shooting down aircraft, which of course gets you a lot of XP. Even destroying ground targets, anything that will get you XP will eventually allow you to start upgrading all these various factors, which will eventually lead to you being able to upgrade. Do I want secondary weapons? Do I want to put a torpedo? Do I want to put, rockets? But eventually you'll get to here, and what I suggest is making a beeline to get stealth ammo as soon as possible. So this is phase 2, which is basically complete as far as you've got your plane, and now you need to know how to set it up. And now we're going to go on to phase 3, which is basically going into game and seeing if we can get some booming and zooming on camera, and hopefully killing some targets. Okay, so we're doing ground strike right now. This particular map is not very well suited for booming and zooming because of the very, very low cloud cover. What I'm going to do is I'm going to climb up. The first thing I like to do, regardless of whatever plane I'm flying, is I like to turn around and let a lot of the other aircraft go out in front of me. And after I turn around, I like to get some altitude, if at all possible. So I'm climbing right now. And as you can see, I'm going to the rear ranks right now, so I'm going to start turning around. I'm already at 11,000, almost 12,000 feet. Okay, so alright, so the clouds there's no longer clouds up here. Alright. So, I should actually be able to see enemies down through the clouds, which I actually can. So that's the first thing is when you position yourself for booming and zooming, get up pretty high and start getting some altitude, and then start heading towards anywhere you want in the battlefield, off to the left, to the right, maybe even the center, and see if you can find any targets. Now there's a DO-17, and I'm going to turn on him, so I'm going to invert, and I'm going to start turning around. There he is. Okay, so he is going after our tanks. Hopefully I don't slam into a mountain considering this cloud cover. I'm going to reduce my throttle because I'm coming in really hot. Okay, he's staying straight. This is basically what you want. He's not going to turn because got him. Aircraft destroyed. Now I'm going to use my speed, and I'm going to head right into the clouds. I'm actually not going too fast, but the thing is I boomed and zoomed into friendly airspace. So it doesn't really matter too much about the speed that I'm carrying because I have a defensive wall of allies that is here. Okay. Trying to get some altitude again. Sometimes when you're in the clouds it can be extremely disorienting, and I'm going to reload my guns. The Bullfighter has a ton of ammunition on it, but then again, even if you have a ton of ammunition, you do have a lot of guns, so obviously a lot of guns can go through ammunition pretty quickly. So alright, let's see, machine guns have been reloaded. Alright, I reached the clouds again. You can see the blue skies, and let's do it all over again. Now the other thing about booming and zooming is that you typically don't want to go for fighters, just because of the nature of fighter aircraft is they're always turning and twisting and diving and climbing and jinking and doing all kinds of maneuvers, and in a plane like this, that again, it's very hard to stick its nose in a direction, especially when it's going almost 500 miles an hour. Going after a fighter, unless that person is not paying attention, it's very difficult. So typically you want to go after twin-engine aircraft, more specifically bombers, or four-engine aircraft if you're in a game that has four-engine aircraft enemies in it. Because they don't rely on twisting and turning to get away from the enemy. They're relying on speed, and the best way to keep control of speed is to continue to fly in a straight line. Okay, so there's a B-25 down here, and I hate B-25s. In my opinion, they're really overpowered. Alright, so I'm going to swoop down on him. Oh man, I'm going to be going so fast. There's a Beaufighter already on him, and a P-39. That's not looking good for the B-25, but the B-25 can take a crap ton of damage. So I've already zeroed out my throttle. And oh, I hope he doesn't die by the time I get there. Come on. Ah! Damn it. They got him. Okay, so I'm using my speed to gain more altitude. Sorry guys, I didn't get there in time. But that's alright. A dead B-25 is a good dead B-25. Alright, see how quickly I got above the clouds this time? I basically used the energy from my dive to translate that into vertical distance as opposed to horizontal distance. The longer I would have stayed horizontal, the longer, my speed would have bled off, going along in a flat line along the ground. The longer it would have taken me to get up into the clouds. So that's another thing about booming and zooming is depends on the situation. Sometimes you shouldn't pull up, if you have an enemy on you. Sometimes it's best to actually stay straight and level and just try and use your speed on a flat surface to try and get away from the enemy on a flat plane, I should say. Alright guys, new game. There's somebody here with a B-25. I hate B-25s, so I'm gonna go after him. Where is he? Crap, I just lost him. There he is, purple snow. Ooh, man, I'm going so fast. Damn it, he started to turn. Let's see, can I might be able to do another attack. He doesn't seem to have any allies around him. Oh, he's pretty ballsy. Okay, this could constitute a boom and zoom attack. Hopefully I don't slam into the ocean. Whoa. Okay, so I got his elevator. Aircraft destroyed. Alright. Perfect boom and zoom attack. And I'm in friendly airspace, as you guys can see. I'm going to reload. Take the time to reload. Gain altitude. I love shooting down B-25s. Some more altitude. This is not. Ooh,
no, there's
TBF.
nothing up here anyway. There's supposed to be an HE-111, but...
Hold on, there's this TBF. I'm gonna make a pass at him.
Oh, I see a name.
Oh shit, he's on fire. Come on. Got him. Got him. Wait, there's enemies down here. Oh, a PBY! There's a PBY! I just started salivating. Oh, here we go, PBY. Reduce throttle. Oh, yeah! And he's turning around. He's trying to get away. Wait, something is... Alright, I'm following him down. Alright, go ahead. Oh! I'm gonna use this opportunity to take on this hurricane.
Oh shoot.
Yeah! I got the hurricane!
Nice. Oh, he's on fire now. Oh no 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 no! No, no.